welcome back to another episode of What It Takes. In this video, we're doing something a little different, guys. We're talking to a married couple, Mark and Grace. So Mark is a registered nurse that got into the Medicare space, then added notary to his line of business. And we're going to ask him the questions that you want to know, how he did it, why he did it, and how he can help you get into the notary business as well. So if you want to know how, why, and how you can do it as well, keep watching this video. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of What It Takes. So today, guys, I have a special guest. We have Grace and Mark. And they are a married couple, guys, and they are rocking not just the Medicare space, but the notary space. So I really wanted to bring them on and have a chat. So how are you guys?
We're great.
We're good, yes. It's the weekends.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Absolutely. So introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Grace. I am the wife of my husband here. We have 4 kids and we live in Port Orange, Florida. So we're over here on the coast, the East Coast. We started our business together after, I'll let Mark explain, but I was a stay-at-home mom for 13 years. Did the whole shuffle, birthdays, that whole thing with the kids. And we started a business together. So I'll let him tell you about that.
Yeah. So we, a nurse, a critical care nurse. And as you know, nights, weekends, holidays, and missed a lot of stuff. And in 2019, after finishing one of the travel contracts, I had a decent bonus and I thought I'd take the opportunity to try to start something new. And while I was kind of approaching the end of that contract, I'd gotten an insurance license and went out and tried to make it on my own. And it didn't take very long. You can get the license, but you don't. You kind of have to have somebody teach you the ropes. And I figured out pretty quickly that Medicare was going to be where it was at. The life insurance standalone, it's a racket. And Medicare was a smarter move, especially being in healthcare. We kind of already have a foot in that door. So we started down that road, and then of course, as you know, with Medicare, once you build up those renewals, we kind of blasted through the first year to build up those renewals, and then we figured we cruise and let's look at some other ways that we can make a business or a business model a little more enjoyable, have a little more freedom, and one thing led to another and another and another.
Now we're here.
All right, cool. So I actually have my notary, but I don't utilize it. So it's so exciting to have you guys on to really talk about why did you choose a notary? You utilize that to help you with the Medicare client base. So why notary?
It just seemed like, as we know in sales, if people know, like, and trust you, they are obviously way easier to sell. And there's this idea that you have to go out and get leads or consume leads. And the reality is that if you can just find instruments that will allow you to meet people and come across people on a regular basis, they will be your lead flow. If you're nice to them, if you develop a bond with them, you can do what we call it cross-selling, but it's really kind of passive, just because the upfront relationship is developed and then it works. So how I thought of that, I was just trying to think of things that people in the market might need. And logically, people who are doing, they're doing their wills and their powers of attorney, they need a notary to do that. And they're kind of already in that mindset, in that demographic. So if you have that, well, now you're the go-to person for them. So it kind of becomes a natural progression of the conversation. So,
wow, that's amazing. So how did Grace get tied into the business?
I mean, so we knew at one point when all the kids were in school or starting I knew I wanted to do something. You know, I've gone to college, I have an education, but we just started having children, and Mark wanted me to stay home, you know, and we very 1950s, but we did it. And he worked, and I did the, you know, took care of the house, held that down. But we knew at some point that I would want to begin working again, you know, have some freedom there, financial freedom. And really it was like this divine intervention, the way that it had happened, how he had kind of stumbled into the notary world and found this, you know, niche within the notary market, and was like, hey, I think this is the time. I think you should get your commission and we should do this together. And we literally just jumped in feet first.
Basically, when I started marketing the notary services in addition to the insurance services, and then found out I could pursue a whole bunch of other ancillary contracts, I quickly, within like a month or two, I got more work than I could handle. And essentially was going to be turning away business. I'm like, hey, I need you as a business partner. This is easy. This is fast and easy. And you can totally self-schedule. I'm like, let's just do this together. And that was where we started it. We branded ourselves as a kind of a financial and legal service business that in some ways covers the surface level of a wide variety of things. So.
Wow, that's amazing. The last time I was at an event, I was at the Six Figure Medicare Summit, and one of the girls was telling me, she was like, Patricia, you need a husband. You need a life partner.
It's a nice gig. It is a good gig.
Yes, so it's very interesting. I'm so glad you guys are able to like make it work. So how do you guys make it work? How do you cut it off? Like work, marriage, kids, like how do you cut off business, focus on your marriage? You know, like how is that?
It's definitely a juggling act. I mean, all the time, you know, we have a lot, we have, you know, events and the kids stuff that they do, church. I mean, it's always, we're juggling constantly. But, you know, the first year we agreed that we would say yes to, actually the first 6 months we said yes to everything. We would, you know, really build this up and really go, you know, head first, like into it. So, you know, things fell by the wayside, you know, we're still taking care of our kids, still cooking dinner and stuff, but you know, maybe we ended up getting somebody to come and clean the house. You know what I mean? Somebody to come and do the lawn, because we realized that we really cannot stretch ourselves. Yeah, we had to put the priority where the priority was supposed to be. So we make it work. You know, we cut it off at a certain time. You know, we have date nights, we set things aside, and
we'll set even daily income triggers. Like, you know, we're not trying to be millionaires. If there's a certain amount of money that's made in a day, let's turn the faucet off and go enjoy life. The nice thing about these business models is that there is a good amount of income for a very low time expenditure. So if you structure your schedule very carefully, it allows for a lot of freedom. It allows you to make quite a decent amount of money without doing a whole lot of hard work.
Wow, that's amazing. So how do you get your notary clients? Like, how do you gain business and your leads, I guess you could say?
That's a very good question. So there are several ways you can do that. You can do that in the conventional way of kind of, you know, you create your Google listings and you create listings on like directories and stuff. Those are the pretty standard ways. And of course, we figured out ways to tweak that or to jump up the list on those. But the biggest thing was in the first couple of months, I was like a madman just seeking out contracts. I was looking for like nationwide title companies, and I was just reaching out like crazy. And over time, I aggregated a list of all these connections. And the nice thing about them is that they're a reoccurring connection. So your general public, of course, they can be one-offs. They come and go. They find you on Google, or they find you even YouTube. You know, they find you wherever. But those title companies and the realtors and the lenders, once you've made that relationship, other than a little bit of nurturing, it's like a lifetime lead. You know.
Wow, that's amazing. So where do you guys see your business in the next 5 years?
That's a really great question.
I mean, we're really just ever growing. I think we're always adding, you know, complementary services to the notary. It's all kind of the same business model, low overhead, low startup, which is why we created what we created, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But where do you see yourself?
Well, so this business, in the same fashion that I got so much volume initially that I was like, hey, I need you to be a partner. We've kind of coming into this year, we're like, hey, we need more people. We need some subcontractors. And so we took out additional general liability insurance and, incorporated, did everything that you're supposed to do and come up with contracts for subcontracts for vendors. So now we can, one, provide other people with work, and two, we get a small percentage of it. And that's nice. I mean, like on our anniversary, we were out at the Springs and I was like, man, we're getting paid today. We got people doing stuff. So that will expand over time. How aggressive we pursue more volume for them, I don't know yet. Again, part of it's just natural. It just will happen anyway, as long as you're always over delivering on service. And then other than that, the other expansion, and this was actually her idea. I blew her off on this for a while, and she's like, we should be coaching people and mentoring people. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And it was a bit of there was some murky waters where we kind of had to iron it out. And I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because we realized that, well, coaching people is great. And the idea came from the market. The people were like, well, we want to learn what you're doing, man. What you're doing is so cool. And again, I was like, no, we're not coaching anybody. But we first figured, if we're going to do that, we better, number one, make sure that we have it organized. Let's have a really organized plan for it. And as we started coaching people, we realized, number one, the amount that we would charge somebody is probably just outside of the reach of most people. So it might be a little too hard for them to swallow. But that's just the reality of the way our business is. If we're running $200 an hour appointments, I can't spend 3 hours with you and teach you things for free or for nothing. It just has a price to that time. So then that opened door number 3.
Ever growing.
Which was where we developed this course. We said, well, look, maybe we can make this to where it's something turnkey that people can just do on their own time and learn. And then since we don't have a whole lot of involvement in it, the asking price for it can be pretty minimal. So those are going forward into the next couple of years, I think is going to be, we've launched that, and that has so far so good. But again, that also is a whole nother, it's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother marketing strategy. It's just a whole nother thing to learn, which I like that part of it. I also get frustrated with that part of it.
Well, that's amazing. So give me one good nugget for, say, someone that's not doing Medicare, not doing notary, but they want to get into notary, say like a college student that just want to make some extra cash. What would you say to that person?
I would do 2 things real quick. One, get the commission, which is like $100, because it's just about money in your pocket. I mean, if you got a commission and people know about it, they're going to be hitting you up. So get the commission and tell people about it. Don't keep it a secret. And
market yourself.
Yeah. So the easiest thing is creating a Google business profile, which is what I'm still GMB. I'm still used to saying GMB, but so Google business profile and Thumbtack Pro. That's a great one to list your service on. And people will, it's like a marketing monster. You could even Groupon. You could even put your service on Groupon.
And we tell them that it's especially for younger people who just want a little bit of extra cash. I mean, we come across a lot of people that we've mentored that are retired. They just want to make a little bit of extra money. I would tell them that it's super easy to do. It's flexible. You can work it into your schedule as much or as little as you want. You set a price point, how much you want to make that day or that week, and it's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so give me a nugget for someone that is a Medicare agent and want to add services such as notary. What would you tell that person?
Well, I would say definitely do it for sure, because just like we said, it's with any of those services, it's creating these relationships with people. And so I think one thing that would work very well is you could offer free notary to people, and then they come in and they already know what your other service is. The other would be offer like a free templated, like a free will and notary, and let me review your Medicare plan. I mean, who's not going to go for that? Yeah. So that was kind of my initial mindset. But then I was like, wait, there's so much money in here. I don't have to do this for free. But that concept will definitely play out very well because it's that same demographic. They want a will. They may be trying to find you out for somebody to notarize their ladybird deed. And one of the things we learned when we were doing market analysis is the banks won't touch them. Safe Ship won't touch them. UPS, if they're even there, won't touch them. I don't know why. It's just a signature and witness on a deed.
It's an in the door, automatic in the door for sure.
It's an in the door because if they're in the market for that, they're in Medicare, they're thinking about their estate. It's a natural conversation that's going to happen.
Wow, that's an amazing idea, actually. You have like power of attorneys, like all of those, like they're already talking to you. Like you said, they're in the market, they're your demographics anyway, so why not offer their service? So I guess I need to focus on trying to learn how to do all that.
They will think they thought of it. You'll be like, oh, and I do Medicare, and they'll be like, that's a great idea. Or I do have some insurance products that we could look at. That's a great idea,
Yeah, definitely. So if someone wanted to reach out to you guys and, use some of your services or learn more about notary, how can they find you guys?
Well, we try to make ourselves as visible as possible. So we have a YouTube channel. It doesn't, we're creeping up on you. I think we got 89 subscribers. But so we have Noble Notary and Legal Document Preparers. That is our actual business. And the website that we operate all that under is legaldocprepnotary.com. And then, of course, we list out all our services on there. So even like the training that we have, that is, so we call that Notary Prosperity Academy. But that is, you could access it right from that site, and it will take you to kind of a deep dive on what's involved in that.
Well, that's amazing. And I would definitely leave the link to the Academy in this video. So do you guys have anything else to add?
I would say, I guess for somebody who's taken a novel interest in this, a couple of things. One, this is probably, if you are already in any kind of business, it's going to be a great addition. There's no way, there's no downside to it.
Definitely.
If you are looking at it entirely, like I'm coming into this, my advice would be just don't fall for what they call shiny object syndrome. So if you're going to get into it, do it, tough it out, go get those contracts, work the contracts, because we'll give you a list. I mean, I'm going to give you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of contracts. Go work them. It's a little tedious, but when you work them, the revenue will come in, it'll work. Don't get distracted and try to, I gave it 2 weeks, let me go run off and try something else. Just pay it as diligence because it will pay off big.
And the course that we offer, it's such a low price for what we're giving you. The 3 years of experience that we've had, like Mark said at the beginning, he went out and got all these contracts for us, and we have lists and lists and lists. It's literally a turnkey business that we're handing over to somebody who either is a college student, wants a little bit of money, they want to go full time in this, or they're retired and want a little bit of money. It's a little bit for everybody. And the massive amount of information that we provide for the price is, it's incredible.
Well, when we got into the notary service and the legal service, our motto right from the beginning was the best advertising is you just doing a good job, just trying to deliver quality and trying to always improve. And even with the course, we set the mindset that this is, number one, the doors aren't going to close on it. If somebody gets in, you're in. And two, it's not a static thing. I'm going to be updating stuff, changing stuff. If I learn new stuff, you learn new stuff. So my tricks are, your tricks. So I would call it like an evergreen or it's a living course.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on another episode of What It Takes.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of What It Takes. If you guys would love to get in contact with Mark and Grace, all of their information will be in the description of this video. Go right ahead and check them out. And I'm also going to leave the link to their course as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you, yes, you, on the next video. Bye, guys.